stuff. My bingle bang on my little the G20 the shifter thing.
Oh, your shifter thing from last week.
Yes, it did come in, and it works. It's great. It's so cool. I get to have a sequential shifter now.
A sequential hand shifter.
Yeah.
Like using paddles.
Yes, it's really nice. It works like a charm. I need sunlight. Goodness. Works like a charm. Absolutely no issues. It was immediate. Can my light? Goodness gracious! Give me something. Can I get a witness? All right, we're good.
Gotta love the lighting in studio. On this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast, Joe and Davey talk about all things Darlington and a couple controversial topics from the realms of the internet. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast. Hello, and welcome. Oh, you got me. Gosh darn it, now you have to go.
Welcome to the Fake Racers podcast. My name is Davey Hazard. His name is Joe Tawanski, and we're here to bring you the latest and our opinions on NASCAR mostly, but motorsport in general.
Yeah, and I'm Joe Tawanski, and he's Davey Hazard, and he's Bristol. You can't see him. He's being off camera tonight, apparently.
Being a good boy.
We're gonna have fun tonight. It was Throwback weekend. We had some fun there. We did our Rocket League stream on Friday night. I was very tired, but I got through it, so that was good. A lot of technical snafus, but hope you guys, if you watched that, you enjoyed it. I want to try to do some more stuff like that with different racing-related games, or we can do one of those again in a bit. We're gonna do. I believe we had talked about doing a live edition of this for Coda. If that is something still on the table, I guess that's something I'll have to talk with Davey, because it looks like he doesn't remember that, so that's okay.
It's that.
That's why I'm in charge.
It's that, and also I think my headset's doing weird things, so I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. Joe, if you want to vamp while I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, this is what I love. I love to just go on random tangents, and then Davey just sit there and look all dumbfounded, and he definitely can't hear me right now, so he's a stupid idiot. But yeah, it's a fantastic time. He's just vibing over there. But if you guys like that kind of content, let us know. You can tell us here. You can tell us on those videos. If you hate it, let us know too. Because if you don't wanna watch it anymore, please let us know you don't like that content, so I don't waste my time making it. I'd appreciate it from a productivity standpoint, but of course, we're going to keep all the live racing. I believe next live race is Wednesday, May the 12th. And then we got another race on the 13th, USORL Saturday nights through the end of June. So a lot of racing, a lot of great action. Davey, are you back?
I think I'm good. The last Windows update has been causing a lot of problems on my computer, as most Windows updates do. This one updated on its own. I've been keeping it at bay for a while. This one is making my whole entire computer stutter every few seconds. So I should be fine. I'll be able to pick up everything that you're saying, but it is annoying. So
well, that's a beautiful transition into our first topic, Darlington Throwback weekend. And you know what was stuttering a lot? The truck race on Friday night.
My ears and my screen feel like the truck race.
It was a lot of stop and go, a lot of wrecks. You had that huge wreck on a restart, which was, I laughed. I feel terrible for laughing, because that was a lot of money wasted down the drain and a lot of man hours that guys are probably gonna have to stay at shops extra. But sometimes it's just funny to see a bunch of young guys that kind of race over their heads sometimes. Maybe to their own fault, or maybe to the format's fault, or whatever you want to blame. Wherever you are, and however you feel about motorsports, whoever you want to blame. I kind of laughed at that big wreck. Sheldon Creed came away with the victory, so that was good. It wasn't one of the two Thor Sport trucks, because I think everyone that we were at least watching the race with didn't want Johnny Sauter or Ben Rhodes to win.
Yep, that too.
So I think that's a fair assessment. It caused our Rocket League stream to start late, though, so that was sad. Do you have any other thoughts? Truck race was good. I'm glad the trucks are back at Darlington.
Truck race was fine. It was a little bit of a calamity.
I like demo derbies.
Yeah.
I'm stupid. I like demolition derbies.
Could have been better. I think.
I can't drink my tea with pinkies out.
I think if we get practice,
yeah,
that improves the race. But
especially with the lower series where a lot of the guys don't have as much experience on these tracks, and then you couple that with the lack of experience in the vehicle. I look at Carson Hocevar, who finished second.
Carson Hopper car, very good.
Out of Michigan. Hocevar ran. I believe he ran this race last August. Ran the Darlington truck race then, or September, whatever. So, I think that probably helped him. Because we saw it with Deegan last weekend at Kansas too, right? We saw that she did a lot better because she had laps on the track. So I think if you give these guys time, you give them practice. I'm excited to see what Nashville looks like. Nashville, and I don't know if they have practice for Charlotte. I believe they will because they have qualifying at least. But Nashville is the one I'm really excited for because no one's going to have a lot of relevant, maybe not relevant's the right term, but recent experience at the track.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a big learning curve for everybody. Xfinity was a really solid race, as always. I think we can just come to expect that with the Xfinity races. It kind of got a little stupid at the end, too, with all the late race wrecks and restarts. And Josh Berry took the lead, then Allgaier took the lead, then Berry tried to take the lead and just couldn't clear Allgaier, and just Allgaier ended up winning that one. And the Taz throwback. First of all, what did you think about the ice cream man and the ice cream cone?
It was really freaking cool. It was cool.
Whoever thought that up deserves. I'm sure that someone can tell me who the designer is. And I apologize for not knowing that off the top of my head because I know who it is. I follow him on Twitter, but I can't recall the name, so I feel terrible. But that was whoever ended up, if it was the Good Humor Ice Cream Company or if it was that designer that thought that up. That is like bingo bango wonderful. But nail meat head. Bam. Yep, that's right, Davey. Let's talk. There's one thing about that race though. The end. Fox kind of failed to show what happened to Austin Cindric, which was a
little weird. That was a big hit, especially
because I think he had an onboard, or if he didn't have an onboard, Jeb Burton had an onboard.
Yeah, I saw an onboard from like that wreck.
I thought that was like on Twitter. Like they posted, Fox posted highlights. Was it on the broadcast? TV. Well, Also, that booth with Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace, chef's kiss. Good. It was pretty good.
I thought it was all right.
Bubba's, laid back personality, Eric Jones' snarky humor, perfect. Match made in heaven. Give me more of that. They were talking with Cindric at the start of the race, and it's what we're all thinking, right, when these teams don't run throwbacks. And he said, "Oh yeah, I love your throwback to a month or two ago when you won at Phoenix," because he was running that carshop.com car. And that one got me. Also the style, they decided to do like the 90s grunge type look, which was perfect. And I still dress like that a lot in the summer, so I was like, oh shoot. I guess that's not the way to dress in 2021. Any other takeaways from Xfinity? Good, Josh Berry.
Josh Berry is my take. I was gonna say Josh Berry, killing it, just killing it.
Noah Gregson's team, they got the dash for cash and then they got disqualified. So I think Allmendinger back in 12th or 13th ended up getting the dash for cash because everyone pit there at the end for some reason. It was like, oh, we're gonna have a rewrite checker. All right, let's pit. Huh?
What? Try again?
Mike Wheeler, is that you?
Wash?
No, that's not fair. That probably would have worked out if they an extra couple restarts, because NASCAR just loves to, throw bad caution flags to jumble things up, is what I'm told. Sunday's race was Truex dominates, right? And this is something we've seen a couple times now. You think back to the 2016 600. You think back to a lot of the intermediate races, 2017, 2018, where one guy really dominates and kind of makes a snooze fest of it.
Truex is especially good at this.
True.
Always really good when he can dictate the pace. When his car is good enough,
Mhm.
it's impossible to beat him because he's just good at holding a lead, good at dictating the pace. He'll run you ragged in the lead if his car is good enough.
And I mean, I think that comes with his experience, right? He hasn't always been in top tier equipment like some of these other guys he's racing against now in this portion of his career, where they've always just known go, 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 go. But I think he kind of has more of an understanding of the range of competitiveness, the range of speed. Was a relatively boring race though in terms of not in passing, right? Because you saw that whole stat like 2,000 something, 1,900 passes, green flag
Yeah,
passes.
but
So you can't.
I personally, real quick,
Mhm.
quick little note on that one. I don't like that stat.
Yeah,
I think it's a fun stat to use now that a bunch of the people when the high downforce, low horsepower package was introduced, a lot of people were like, look, there's a bunch of passing, those passing numbers include green flag pit stops, the passing that occurs there, lap to lap. So it's not really accurate.
and putting Rick Ware
Like
cars a lap
yard,
down.
it's not like an accurate yardstick for actual passing on the racetrack, and it never has been. But I will say, and I was tweeting back and forth with some guy today about this. This is like obviously it was the highest passing rate Darlington race there's ever been since I've been collecting the data for the last 14 races at Darlington. Not a necessarily out there number of caution laps. There wasn't particularly any more green flag racing than any of those Darlington races. In fact, if you factor in, if you account the fact that there were 100 less miles than most Darlington races that we run, there's significantly less green flag time. So take it that way you will. It's an interesting stat. It's an interesting discussion, but it doesn't really tell us all that much about like racing, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think another thing people were talking a lot about was the intervals were closer, and they're pointing to that as, oh look, we can pass. To that I say, I know the easy claim is just look at Kansas last year, but you have closer intervals with the high downforce, low horsepower package. So again, it goes back to, and we're going to talk about this, so I don't want to get too much into it. It goes back to what makes good racing, and that's something we're going to talk about in a couple of segments here. But I just kind of have that as a broad topic for tonight. But it goes back into that because there, I think I don't think NASCAR went into with this current high downforce package went into, oh, we need to make the cars closer and that will make the racing better. Their idea was let's foster more passing down the straightaways through the use of a bigger spoiler and less horsepower, making it so you can get runs down the straightaways, which you kind of can. It's just you can't make a big enough run until you get to the corners is the issue. But again, we can talk about that in a second. Was it even a memorable race though, Davey? Was it?
Yeah,
Are you gonna remember this one?
To me, yeah, I
Why?
will. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was like, while there wasn't a whole lot of racing action, I had a thoroughly good time watching the cars, watching the drivers.
Okay.
The drivers had fun. They kept talking about how slick it was, and you could see it. It was high stakes racing, and I loved it. I enjoyed every second of it. My dad was watching. He was like enamored by it. He was so intrigued, and he was back in the NASCAR. He's been becoming an IndyCar fan recently,
Mhm.
and like legitimately becoming an IndyCar fan recently. And I'm like, that's crazy. But he enjoyed it. He liked watching the car sideways. He thought that was the way to go. I agree with him. That was fun. I'm gonna remember it. Like, it was cool. It was cool. It's not often that we get to see the Cup cars do that as much as they did last Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's not like it's a memorable race in terms of they all blend together in my head a lot of times. Not that it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad race because I thought it was a great race. I voted like everyone else that it was a good race. I think we have to be careful about what we put in our own heads, expectation wise, and what we choose to And I know you're really good about not doing this, but there's a lot of people put, oh, well, this is the expectation going into this race. And I'm just going to say that the race meets this expectation because it fits my narrative. And we as humans have a very bad bias towards doing that. There's a better word there, I'm sure. That whole we look at the negatives and not the positives out of a weekend. And this weekend was a lot of positives, right? I think you saw, okay, this is probably the direction that'll do good racing at this track, at a Darlington, on a worn out surface. It was a great race. Doesn't mean it was memorable. Like I don't 5 years from now, I don't think I'm going to remember this race. And maybe that's not a great definition of memorable, but in the end, and this is something I've talked about too, it's a second Darlington race. It's not the Southern 500, so it loses out on that memorability factor, right? It's not a marquee crown jewel event. So like your Daytona 500, your Coke 600, and your Southern 500, those three races are always going to be memorable just because of the gravity of the event.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it wasn't a good race. And I guess that's kind of was going to be my next question. If in your eyes, does a race have to be memorable to make it good? Can a race be good without being memorable? Or could a race be memorable without being good? I mean, because we can all remember stinkers, right? Like, we can all remember crappy. We all are going to remember that Kansas race from last year. But again, we're remembering that race because of the way it ended. So then it goes back into that whole other conversation of, well, does the end actually make the race, or does the entire race make? You know what I mean? And we keep going down all these different rabbit holes in this complex system of tunnels that just makes no sense. Because we're human beings, we all have different opinions and ideas on what makes something good and what makes something bad. But that's my question, I guess. What is one not the same without the other? Can you have one without the other?
No, races can be memorable without. I mean, races can be memorable without being good. Races can be good without being memorable. I subscribe to every combination of that. Everyone remembers. God, what's a race that wasn't good that people remember? I mean, like, there's plenty of bad races that we remember, but like,
I would say 2016 Coke 600, where Truex led 512 out of 600 miles, and that number is stapled in my head.
I like that race. I saw someone tweet about Chase Elliott's first win on Twitter. I saw someone mention his first win, how it was.
That was the second Watkins
win. No, not his first one. His second one. His second one. Sorry, my bad. But like, I don't know. It's a Chase Elliott win. It's a road course. People probably like cool deal.
Wins.
Wasn't a great race. And obviously people remember it because it was brought up. I mean, yeah. No, I subscribe to all those. They're not exclusive to anything. I think that, and like, in my opinion, this Darlington race was memorable, but I'm sure to a lot of people, the race was probably just fine. It was probably good. They don't really care. They'll just move on to the next one. It is what it is. Do what you want.
Do what you want. Do what makes you happy. Come on, people. Golly gee.
Jesus.
Well, Darlington was a fun weekend. In the end, Darlington's going to be an amazing racetrack. I think it always puts on great racing, no matter what people say, even with the last couple of years with the high downforce, because I thought all the Darlington races were great last year. I don't know why people were all of a sudden saying they were bad when they were saying they were good last year. Maybe outside of that first one, because I think a lot of people probably said that was a good race just because we were so starved for it at that point, right? You got to look at it back on it like that. Maybe take the rose-colored glasses off. But I'm not happy Michigan lost a date to Darlington, but I'll take it. I'll just say we lost a date to Road America. How about that? And they'll say Chicagoland lost their date to Darlington.
Maybe.
Then I can be angry. I don't know. I can't be angry. It'll hopefully work out. Hopefully we'll get our race back somehow. All right, moving on. This one, I promised we were going to talk about this week for our listeners that maybe follow me on Twitter, follow you on Twitter.
This is
that topic that I just pull my hair out for. The way NASCAR markets itself. And Davey, we've kind of had this conversation in the past. We've talked about, I think you've talked about NASCAR's more getting closer and closer into the entertainment industry than it is into the sport industry. Is that correct? Or they've had to make that decision
They have to make that decision.
Yeah.
They're coming to a point where they're going to have to make that decision on whether they're a sport or whether they're an entertainment property.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
We'll see. So, big thing that I've seen, and it just, oh my goodness, Davey, it just frustrates the crap out of me.
We had to go in and debunk this.
Davey went in and did some research before this while I was still waking up.
We had to go in and debunk this, and we looked at recent videos too, and it is not as bad as you think.
YouTube thumbnails.
YouTube thumbnails for videos for NASCAR.
Oh,
I see this all the time.
NASCAR.
Look at all the wrecks. Oh no, they're marketing the wrecks.
Oh, the two wrecks that happened in the two wrecks that happened in the cup
on the
race.
YouTube thumbnail. YouTube thumbnail is marketing. It doesn't make sense. But I like, on one hand, I do agree with these people in some way, but it is being made into such a big deal. I do not think it is as big a deal as it is being made out to be. I did some research. I went on the Formula One YouTube channel. I went on the NASCAR YouTube channel. Formula One is the benchmark for how a motorsport should present itself, according to a lot of people. I don't disagree. Formula One does a fantastic job. I love Formula One. I love the analytics. I love the data that is presented to you at all times. It's great. NASCAR and IndyCar can learn a lot from that. However, it is not the standard that you think it is. It is not doing all the things that you think it is doing. 14 of the 24 most viewed videos on the Formula One YouTube channel feature a crash or the aftermath of a crash, or in one case, crew members engulfed in flames in the thumbnail. 14 of 24, over half. NASCAR, 10 out of 24. And I had to include fights as an example of cashing in on drama or chaos or anything like that. Without fights, I think it's 8. A third. Compared to over half. This is not a big deal. This is not as big a deal as you're making it out to be. Do I agree with people seeing Ryan Newman get hit in the head with a race car all the time? I don't particularly agree. But It is not as bad as you think it is. Calm down. It is okay.
It's okay.
Gonna be okay. People are gonna see crashes. Crashes, as bad as they are, as scary as they can be. It's unfortunate, and we have to do our job as a group, as a group of NASCAR fans and as a group of NASCAR people, to make sure that these don't become like people who are seeing these crashes. Those crashes are a gateway to new fans, right? Like, a lot of people see them, like, especially big one. It's not what we want, but it's how it's going to be. It's what sells, unfortunately. You know, there's a fine line there with you know, if a driver gets injured. We all know that. We all know that we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, remember
That's
one of
not
those
right.
One of those videos that talked about F1 was the Grosjean crash, so just putting that out there too.
Yep, one was the aftermath of the Grosjean crash. Again, there was the crew members that were literally engulfed in flames on pit road. Fernando Alonso's massive crash in 2016. Just, it's not. We gotta think. We gotta critically think about what we're doing here. It's not as bad as you think it is. I promise.
It's the sex appeal, right? I mean, in a lot of terms, what's the thing that appeals to people? Violence appeals to people. Wrecks are violent. Crashes, fights, they're violent.
Things that are generally shocking.
It has to grab your attention, right? That's the point of a thumbnail. If I just throw up a bunch of thumbnails like I keep doing for all these race broadcasts, no crash in them, I don't think I'm getting more.
At the end of the day, and I know this is maybe this isn't right, maybe this is wrong. The thumbnail, it's not. If you are a fan of the sport, I don't think it's for you.
Yep.
It's just not. It's not for you.
Ba-bam.
There are things that are for you, but that's not it. That's not one of them. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. But that's the way it is right now. That is what will get you some views. That is a gateway to the sport. Obviously, we work on that as we go. We're like, hey, calm down, buddy. we race here too.
Yeah.
Racing's the important part, but still.
And we've talked about it too, that whole safety factor, right? We've gotten to a point where a lot of these guys are again starting to feel like they're invincible. They're not going to get hurt. Well, part of what makes motorsports appealing to a lot of people is the danger. How do you market the danger? Well, you show a fiery crash that you know a driver's safe getting out of. I mean, I think one of the thumbnails is Kurt Busch's car going on fire for this for like the race rewind on NASCAR, because I don't follow the F1. I don't really follow the NASCAR YouTube either, because I watch the races. I don't need to watch them, right? Again, they're not for me, because I'm the guy that sits there for 4 hours, even if it's a stinker of a race, and watches it and takes notes, and whether they be mental or written. Talking about thumbnails, though, is a lot different than talking about the way they market the sport on TV and they do commercials, right? I think we can all agree that probably showing the Ryan Newman crash over and 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 over again, outside of maybe showing it for a segment this year for the 500, maybe having a piece done together, a commercial that you could have done. Oh, we'll see Ryan Newman's triumphant return to the high banks of Daytona after this wreck, and then show the wreck, if that's what you want to do. Joey Logano's flip from Talladega a few weeks ago, that will be used in marketing material for a long time. Again, sex appeal, wreck appeal, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's what gets eyeballs. Why do you there's a reason why Daytona and Talladega are more watched than most other races, and why they're not going anywhere. There's a reason why Bristol, we think Bristol's a better race, because they can make contact, and there's a high likelihood that there's going to be some kind of incident because of that contact, but because in your head you say, oh, it's short track racing, they're going to make contact, this is just a product of it, and you're okay with it because you're saying, oh, it's short track racing and it's good. But then when you see it at Daytona and Talladega, in your head, oh no, this is bad because someone could get hurt. In the end of the day, they're both wrecks, right? A wreck's a wreck is a wreck. I can get involved in an accident going 25 on the road, and I get in an accident on the highway going 70. Do the same damage to my car. I'm going to get billed the same from the insurance company. I'm going to have the same ticket from law enforcement. Doesn't matter that I was going the speed limit in both situations and I got involved in a crash. Is that maybe a little ignorant? Maybe. I wouldn't, but if your issue is the way that they market, if your issue is thumbnails, I think you're going a little too far. I think, because I understand where you're coming from, but we live in this age of the way we have to advertise to people is to really grab their attention. Bam, right? It's all about these retention rates too. When you look at the analytics for views on a platform like YouTube or Twitter or whatever it may be, about your retention rate. About, hey, okay, yeah, you got them to click on the video. That's great. And I can get 1,000 clicks on this, but if they don't watch for that long, well, YouTube's not going to push the video out any more than they would have. So in the end, even if they're just clicking on it for the wreck, you still have to do stuff to make them stay. And a lot of those videos, my assumption is it's not just 15 minutes of them showing the same wreck over and over. Again, my big issue comes to advertising. When we're advertising for Dover and we're showing Joey Logano flipping at Talladega.
Yeah.
That's where my issue comes in.
Weird, wrong, bad.
Well, it's not even that it's weird. You're just not marketing what you're actually going to be showing. You're setting up false expectations for your product. I don't know. That's where I get it. I understand it, right? I understand why they do it. I don't have a problem with it if as long as the driver walks away okay. When it comes to, okay, here's a still shot, here's a photo. I think that kind of gets into, and I don't like talking like this, but I'm going to do it because, hey, controversy always gets you views. It's trying to be that elitist big brain, right? Like, look at me. Yeah. I am so much better than you. I don't need to see wrecks. I don't need to see cautions. You tread so close to that line. Not to say people making that argument, but you're treading closer and closer to that line. And once you go over that line, you lose a lot of credibility. And that's
I'll just go ahead and say, there's a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of just random people that I see on Twitter that are so clearly coming across that way. It's so boring. It's so dull. I don't look at that. Just showed a crash in the commercial. Look at all these crashes in the thumbnails. What the heck? This is wrong. It's just I don't what. No one like really cares. It's not actually a problem. It's not actually a problem at all. It's weird. Like and that's the painful part is like I agree again. I agree with these people. I agree that we don't. Okay, cool. I don't need to see a crash. Like I don't need a crash for this to be a good race. I'm not entertained by the crashes. It's just a part of racing that we deal with. But like some people just go out of their way to try and say that they're that way and push that way. They go so far to like make that point. It's just kind of cringe. It's like yeah, we get it. You're a race fan. All right, cool. Thank you for all this wonderful information about how we should promote the sport. And for the thumbnail pictures, we should just use a picture of a car, and that's it.
Show
And
Kyle Larson going 3 wide with 2 lapped cars. That's
okay. To be fair,
that would have been cool. But
that's the coolest thing that happened.
not a good example.
It's way more impressive than anything Martin Truex Jr. did on Sunday.
Yeah. No, and that you have to be careful about that when making any argument, right? There's always the you don't bring up the old bad 1940s Germany party. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to get demonetized for unnecessary reasons. But that's always right. Everyone, when you get in an argument in grade school,
what?
The first person to bring up that guy, that crazy guy, you lose the argument. The first person to yell in an argument, you lose the argument. Right? That was a bad example. See, I just proved it, Davey. I just proved it. Yeah, yeah. Take a big knock back, Dr. Pepper.
Wishes was alcohol.
But you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you're making those arguments. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you don't want to see crashes. But I think if you just say, well, this is bad, I don't think you're understanding why it's being done. Again, if you want to use F1 as your golden goose, well, your goose just got cooked.
Do it more.
Yeah,
honestly.
We should
do it more. If you want to be like F1, look, we got to do it more.
We got 4 more, baby.
Crashes. More crashes.
4 more.
Let's light our pit crew members on fire and do that. Let's take a picture of that.
Actually, I think the most viewed video on NASCAR's YouTube is Keselowski running over his crew at Pocono a few years ago. That was so scary. It's so scary too, right? And I think that's part of it. People don't want to see it. People don't want to be reminded of it too. But I'm all on board with less crashes in the commercials. I don't need to see 3 crashes per 30-second ad spot. 1 would be good.
Okay.
And make sure it's at the track.
If you're crying about thumbnails, we have a serious talk. We're gonna have a discussion. We're gonna talk about this.
We're getting to the edge.
I probably like you as a person, but we gotta have a serious talk about what to complain about because that is not what we gotta complain about. There are bigger fish to fry than thumbnail images. Eesh.
I don't know. What's a bigger fish to fry? Well, maybe what makes racing good.
Joe, what do you think makes racing good?
Oh my goodness, Davey, let's
hear it. How about this? Let's hear it in 10 words or less.
10 words? Shoot. That's hard. I can give you 2. Changing conditions.
Hey,
that's the biggest thing for me.
That's a good one. Good one.
I think it starts with the track. Like I said, I think Darlington's always going to put on a good race with the state it's in, with the old worn out surface that's a little gritty. Atlanta's been good even with the bad quote unquote package. I think track is the biggest determining factor into what makes racing good. I think tire wear, and that's why I'm very, very excited with next gen. Hearing one of the first things they talked about with the tires was they're going to be able to do softer compounds again. Because that was the big Goodyear. I always think back. The tipping point was 2018 Brickyard or 2008 Brickyard. Sorry, when we drove the COT at Indianapolis for the first time. Indy is obviously a cheese grater. We've seen a bunch of tire failures. Saw one last year that was really scary with Denny Hamlin. We see all kinds of tire failures there because of the way that surface has all these slotted grooves in it. That's really scary. I think tire wear is the next thing on that list, because if you can get good, you can get good tire wear even at some of these tracks where they're newer surfaces and they have a lot of grip if you have the right compound. And then after that, it comes to the car, which I think a lot of people would say it starts with the car. I think you can have good racing without having a necessarily good car, because I've seen it. I think we can all agree that the current high high downforce, low horsepower doesn't produce the best racing. It's not the optimal. It can produce good racing at certain places. I've enjoyed Atlanta races the last few years. I've enjoyed Darlington. I said it. I enjoyed the last couple Darlington races with this package. I enjoyed all of the races last year for the most part. But I really do think it starts at the track, choosing the right tracks, and that's why when people say more short tracks, and you go, "Oh, that's not the remedy," I agree, because I don't think it comes down to just add short tracks, because there are bad short tracks out there too.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness gracious, yes.
It's not a one size fits all solution to make good racing either, right? Because you can have a car that's so bad that it makes the racing worse. I mean, think about. I'm trying to think what track would be a great example of that. Probably the road courses like Watkins Glen and Sonoma when we use the high downforce.
Ooh, that was
Those were
bad.
bad, right?
That was bad.
And I think we'd all agree that the road courses have been some of the better tracks in recent years, and those races were terrible.
Mm.
Um, I don't think that's an unfair statement to make. Richmond hasn't been too great.
Mm.
But I think that goes back to track conditions, and they don't seal the track there anymore. Um, I don't know. I think tire wear. I think tire wear, changing conditions. I think changing conditions to get back. I don't. What's your thought?
I don't know. You went in depth. I had like when I first saw that on our little show sheet, I kind of had like a very broad thought. Hard to drive, easy to pass. Make the drivers make mistakes. Make the drivers have to work for it. Make the drivers figure it out. Make the drivers have to adjust. Um, Anything that puts something in the driver's hands gives a human element to it. I'm all for it. Um, you know, racing is an emotional sport. It's very visceral. If you can have these guys that care a lot, push cars that don't want to do what they want them to do, it makes a race like Darlington that we had this Sunday. It makes it very good, in my opinion. It makes the racing enjoyable to watch. It makes the cars enjoyable to watch. It makes the racing high stake. Like I said, like this Sunday at Darlington, maybe the racing wasn't fantastic. Maybe the passing and back and forth, maybe there wasn't a whole lot, but the cars were slip sliding around, and it was kind of fun to watch it. Easy to pass, simple. Make it easy to pass. I see all this nonsense, and I saw this nonsense. Dave Moody said some nonsense about this a few years ago when the package first kind of came out, and he was defending it. He said some nonsense like, "What? The drivers have to work to get the pass done. This is the highest tier of stock car racing in the world. They gotta work to get the pass done. It's not gonna come easy." Isn't the isn't the goal to have more pass? Isn't the cause and effect of having more passing making it easier to pass so the drivers can pass?
Not
What are you gonna?
necessarily. You try. You got to tread lightly there when you say easy to pass. I'm trying to think of. I know what you're saying, and I think there's a better way to say it. Because when you say easy to pass, I think you're discounting the work that the drivers have to put into it. Because I don't think you mean in terms like, oh, okay, I can just run up next to you and I can get by you real quick, right? I don't think that's what you mean.
No, I don't mean
Right.
that.
But that's what it comes across as when you say easy. I think the easiest way to say it is just you want to put it back in the driver's hands, right? And that's something we always strive for in motorsports. We want to put it in the driver's hands, and that's part of why I don't like F1 all that much, because I feel like it's a lot more technological. When people go, it's the purest form of motorsports. No, it's not. It's not. Technology is way up here. Purest form of motorsports technology needs to be way down here, or at least closer to the middle.
Yeah, and the thing with F1, F1, I like F1 it has all, no matter what formula the Formula One cars have had, no matter what Formula One has been, no matter what era or generation of cars, passing has always been hard. Formula One, and that is a thing about Formula One that is very Formula One. That's probably not going to change anytime soon because that is what makes Formula One. Those are some of the most memorable moments in Formula One, or some of the brilliant overtakes that drivers have had to produce over the years. I'm not saying that NASCAR can't have that, but NASCAR races on ovals.
Right.
On road courses, you make your passes on the entry of the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you make your pass. You outbreak your opponent, whatever, the other guy, and you get in the corner and you take the line. Then you get the line, you get out of the corner. On ovals, it's not like that. In NASCAR, you make your passes on the exit of the corner, and so long as momentum and air allow you to anymore. But yeah, I feel like you should be able to track close behind a guy, find a run, get a line, and I know you don't like the wording, but like for all intents and purposes, in NASCAR it should be easier to pass. It's just
Yeah.
I
get
don't
what
know,
you're saying. I just
a big old. I know you don't like the wording
the
of it, but I mean
wording,
it
man.
should be. Like,
and I think
that's what NASCAR is. That's what ovals are. It's relative. I mean, you look at any short track in the world. Like, I don't want to say easy to pass as in like. Okay, I actually really do see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I don't mean easy to pass as in like you can just go up and get around a guy. I mean easy to pass as in like if you have it, if you can get it,
you can get by.
You can go get it.
Yeah.
If you can go get it, you can go get it. In Formula One, it's not that simple. IndyCar, sometimes it's that simple. Current package in NASCAR, NA18D, not always that simple.
Right.
It's not always that simple. But short tracks around the world or around the country, if a guy gets a run, he can get up alongside you and he can fight for it, and he can put the work to you, and he can try and get around you. I'm not going to go into like contact and stuff like that because that's not what I subscribe to. But regardless, giving the drivers that freedom, driver's hands, like you said, that is important to me, and that's where I stand on that.
We both took different approaches to this. You took a result. I talked about causation, right? I'm talking about what makes good racing. Well, having a lot of wear, that makes good racing. That's causation. Where yours is more of a result. You want, and I think we're both on the same track, right? Because I think what you want comes from what I said I want, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Because that's, if you want to put it back in the driver's hands, what you have to do is you have to let them be the ultimate determining factor for why you win a race. Not the car, not the track position. How do you do that? Okay, driver, I need you to save for 10 laps, and then go get them. How else do you do that? You don't put a big, massive spoiler, or, you don't seal the cars off to the ground, which has been my biggest issue since 2017, is that we decided, hey, let's start stealing the cars to the ground, and oh no, well, that's good because now there's no air underneath the cars, so there's no lift. Not how that works.
And meanwhile, cars are getting airborne and flipping more than they have ever before with the roof flaps.
And I'm pretty sure they're bigger too. They've increased the size of the roof and the hood flaps. I don't know. I think we're both on the same track there. Man, I just want good racing, right? I think that's what we all want at the end of the day, and I think we all
want good racing.
I saw the argument, like, I want the drivers. I want to know that the drivers have to actually drive the cars, and I think that's what we want, right? I sent out a tweet, and you replied to it right away, and I knew you were going to reply to it when I sent it. And I'm not going to post it on here, so you got to follow Davey on Twitter, and then you can find it. Again, that's at Davey Hazard. But I was waiting to get roasted. I didn't get roasted because I was right. It was about the way this last weekend, like everyone talking about, oh, it was so great, and I didn't see anything too different. I saw different causation. I saw the same result. You know what I mean?
I get it. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
But that doesn't. And I even said, right, I thought it was a good race. I've said it here. It was a good race.
Also, ultimately, what makes good racing is entirely subjective. Some people don't like Some people don't like the high amount of passing in NASCAR. Some people think it's too easy. It's
Wait,
just
we can
kinda,
pass here?
well, compared to some motorsports, yes.
Compared to
Yeah. But
F1?
you know what I mean, though. Is like
Yeah, no. I get
some
it.
people. I mean, there are some people who genuinely like NA18D. I don't know why, but like they
It
do,
has
and
produced
that's
some good
fine.
races. I think
Okay.
back to the first Kansas race with it. That was the night race. Like Keselowski, Bowman, and someone else. That was a really good duel. I thought the 600 last year was pretty good, but I thought that I attributed that more to tire wear.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, or lack thereof. I don't know. But something we can both agree on is that Circuit Diecast is your home for all of your diecast and purchasing NASCAR memorabilia needs. Davey shook his head, but that's because
It was
he can't
good. It was good.
believe how good I'm getting at these transitions, folks. Just like Circle B Diecast gives you the best service. I actually got. I'll show. Let's look. I'll get the one that Davey would like. I got a bunch of 164s in this week. There's Jimmy Johnson's finale car. You can go over to the JTN Twitter right now and vote on a poll. I believe it'll close tomorrow, so that'll be when this comes out, or right thereafter, about which one you want to see reviewed first here on JTN. Right now, I believe the Ryan Newman Oscar Mayer 2021 cast is winning, but you can go check it out and see. Maybe skew the vote a little bit in your favorite diecast. But Circuit Diecast, again, your home, use code JTN for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Davey, as always, as is customary, what'd you pick out this week for their fans to go check out on the Circuit Diecast website?
I picked out Corey LaJoie's 2021 ZRX Darlington Throwback. My favorite throwback in the field, 100%. The suit was good. Man, it was good. Everything was good. Everything was good.
He didn't actually wear that Cole Wiki suit during the race, did he? I
think it was a suit that was remade. I think he had a new suit made that was like that suit. Because he said he was wearing it. There's no way NASCAR would allow that. Never in a million years.
My big thing was it had the old Winston Cup and it had the Ford logo on it, and both of those are obviously not his sponsors. That was the big thing for me there from the marketing side. I was like, I don't think his sponsors would necessarily like it if he wore that suit.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's spicy. I wonder what it was. Regardless, beautiful race car. I actually genuinely might buy this.
Yeah. Do it.
Check it out, man.
Swear real quick. Get a swear in.
Nope. Saving money.
Darn.
Saving money.
Almost got
Going to Charlotte soon. I'm going to Charlotte, baby.
JTN Vlogs, maybe.
JTN Vlogs.
JTN Live, JTN Vlogs.
Send me a GoPro.
Yeah, work expenses. Anyways, we talked about that truck race earlier. My favorite throwback was Danny Bones, Michael Waltrip Country Time Lemonade throwback. That truck looked awesome. On your screen, you'll see it. It's the dual autograph version, so it's going to have Mikey's autograph as well as Danny Bones' autograph, which I think is a really cool little thing. And also, Waltrip wearing all those throwback suits in the booth. That was awesome, man. I am the one thing I am like Fox. They disappointed me a lot with this throwback weekend. I wanted to see the old ticker. I think a lot of other people did too. I wanted to see like maybe some older graphics packages besides the mic flags. And then they're like transitions in and out of commercial, which aren't even actual transitions they've used in the past. Mike Waltrip, he went for it on Friday night, and I appreciate you so much, Mr. Waltrip.
Dude, I gotta go. Like, and one of these guys isn't a Fox guy, but I gotta say, two people who just get so much crap, get so much hate for nothing other than doing the job that they're told to do, but they kill it every time. They always kill it. Michael Waltrip, and in my opinion, Rutledge Wood. They are great at their jobs, dude. Like, they do a great job. They absolutely kill it. Everything they're on. I know people have a bone to pick with Rutledge Wood, but genuinely, if you listen to Rutledge Wood talk, I'm not a car guy. He knows more about cars than I've ever heard anyone know about cars. Total car nut, total dude. Like, absolutely one of the coolest guys ever. And people crap on him because of the assignments he gets from his boss. Seriously, give Rutledge Wood a chance because he's awesome.
I remember
I love Rutledge Wood.
people always crapped on the Top Gear USA The original one with him, Adam Ferrara, and Tanner Faust on the History Network or whatever. I loved that show. I thought it was so good.
That show was just fine. It's just it was going up against the UK version.
Right, and I had never seen the UK version because I was like 12, so I...
Exactly. The UK, it's not fair because you're never going to get the UK version.
Right.
I mean, the UK version is legendary for a reason. Yeah,
and it's gone for a reason too. Ooh, went there.
Rut gets a lot of hate. Don't hate on Rutledge Wood. He's just doing his job. Check out the Dinner with Racers podcast with him and Tanner Faust. It's my favorite one.
Oh, gotta listen to that.
Anything.
Bam, bada bing, ba boom. Pew pew. But yeah, go check out those diecasts as well as a large assortment of diecasts from our friends at Circle B Diecast. Again, use code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your orders of $20 or more. And that'll go to help support us here on JTN as well when you use that code. Whew. All right, we got through the controversial stuff. Let's get to the stuff that you called this one of your favorite tracks, a unique track a few weeks ago, the Dover International Speedway, DIS, as it's more commonly called. The Dover!
The Dover!
Remember when we had 4 straight races at DIS last August?
Yikes.
You went to 2 of them?
Huh?
Because Daytona International Speedway, Dover International Speedway, DIS.
Oh, yeah.
I got them, folks. I got them. Dover, again, we're going to be using low downforce, high horsepower. Don't know how well it's really going to make the racing because Gen 6 Dover hasn't been great at all times, but here we are. I think we're going to see the same players up towards the front as we've seen. You know, I think Truex will be starting up front too, so I'd peg him probably to win. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. He's kind of got his swagger back a little bit. Which we didn't even talk about that, but Kyle Busch, oh my goodness, he drove a fantastic race after cutting that tire early on.
Definitely did.
There's more credit.
Big up Kyle Busch.
But Xfinity, only Xfinity and Cup this weekend. Xfinity, I believe, 1 p.m. Saturday, FS1. Cup, 2 p.m. Sunday, FS1. Who you got? Who you got Xfinity?
Xfinity, I'm going to go AJ Allmendinger.
All right, you going to go AJ Allmendinger again?
I'm going to go with the Dinger.
I'm going to go Justin Allgaier. Won here last year. I think that's the easy pick. It's going to...
That is the easy pick.
Lay it on up and in. No, but he's been good. He's always good here at Dover. Watch out for Daniel Hemrick, of course, because he is, I believe, second or leading. No, he's second in points because I think Cindric's probably first. Watch out for Daniel Hemrick because, again, he's got good equipment and he's going to win a race. So maybe this is the weekend. He's got to win a race, man. He's going to win one. I just don't know when, where. Cup, who you got? Can't pick Truex. Okay.
Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Chase actually, I think his Dover win came in No, it didn't. 2018. Yeah, he won the Dover race in 2018 or 2017.
But he gave the win
it
away
to Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and when I say gave it, I mean he gave it. I mean he gave that win away.
Well, Chase chokes.
That was in the prime time for Chase choking too.
Yep, now he's teammates with Kyle Larson, and they are Choka Motorsports. Although Chase is the only Hendrick driver that hasn't won this year. Washed back. Get him out of that car. Napa, pull your sponsorship.
Pull him out. Stick Timmy Hill in.
Timmy Hill in the car. He can win an iRacing and leave. No. Chase is a solid pick. I'm going to go with Alex Bowman.
Ooh.
He was good here a few years ago. Junior was usually ran pretty good here with Ives. I know Greg Ives, worst crew chief in the history of crew chiefs. That's an inside joke. But
yeah.
I got a little other segment on there. I don't know who are you gonna peg to win the Indianapolis Grand Prix this weekend?
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with Joseph Newgarden because he has to get something going here. Or Rossi. I mean, Jimmy might do good. This is
straight face.
he's got a different livery this weekend too.
Jimmy Johnson.
That'll be cool. He'll have a different one at Belle Isle too.
Yeah.
Gotta make all that merch money somehow. Change the livery. No, good on Carvana. Carvana doing awesome activating.
Carvana doing a great job.
So I have another segment on here.
Yeah.
Karting, Userol.
My karting season is over until October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately not gonna be able to make the next 2 races. Well, the first one being this weekend, the next one being 2 weekends from now, or 3 weekends from now, technically. Gonna be out of town for both of those. Gonna be in Charlotte for the second one, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Wait, are you gonna be racing this Saturday in the United States Online Racing League Red Bull Cup Series?
I might be.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. We had Talladega this weekend. That was interesting.
That was past weekend. That's right. That was interesting. Yeah. Graphics guy got the lap counter wrong. Feels like crap for it.
Yeah, I don't feel like crap. He did fine. It was a good broadcast. I went and watched it back. Ricky did a good job. It was all good. Got a 4th place finish. A-okay with me. I'm all right with a 4th place, especially when the top 3 are just gonna do their thing.
Yep, and there was something you were about to say there, but good thing you didn't.
To them, I like all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't gonna try and win anytime soon. I mean, I knew they weren't.
I was surprised Will didn't try to get it.
Yeah, no. As soon as he went to push me and then ducked back in the bottom line and left me out to dry, I knew it was over. I mean, those guys were never gonna leave. Those guys were never gonna go for it, and that's fine. They can do that.
Good teammates.
I'm not mad. Yeah, the teammates are good.
Not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I am disappointed. Give me a chance, damn it. Yeah.
Golly gee.
Golly gee.
Cheese whiz.
Good gorsh.
Good gorsh.
I don't even know where we're at this upcoming weekend.
Richmond.
Richmond.
You're like Richmond. You're probably 40-something points to good, so you probably just have to start the next 2 weeks. And
that's pretty good, because guess what? If I can't fix my computer, we're gonna be SOL, man. This sucks.
Same old Lions?
It's been stuttering the whole time.
Nothing.
I don't.
Detroit joke. Go on.
That was a football thing. I knew it was a football thing. Went over my head. Don't watch football.
Yeah, you do.
Kind of crazy. I watched the real one.
Yeah, you watch football.
I don't even call it football. We're talking about soccer, by the way. No, I don't even call it football. I call it
Sorry,
soccer.
We're elitist. We call it football here.
No, we call it
football.
Soccer here. Sorry, we call it soccer here.
We call it football.
America. It's the United States. Call it soccer. Bunch of weirdos that call it football. If you're an American and you call soccer football, we have a serious talk. Again, same with the thumbnail thing. We have a serious talk. You're not calling it football. We're calling it soccer. It's soccer here. Major League Soccer. Soccer. It's soccer.
We're beating bottoms.
It might sound a little weird compared to the Europeans, but guess what? We're not European. So just call it soccer. If you want to call it football, move to Europe. Otherwise, call it soccer.
Might need to move to Europe with the gas shortage down south, huh?
Oh man, the gas shortage. You want to know what's crazy about that? There wasn't a gas shortage until someone said there was a gas shortage, then everyone went and got gas. Now we have a gas shortage.
Oh, that's funny.
Idiots.
Will NASCAR even race this weekend with the gas shortage?
NASCAR washed?
NASCAR not?
Oh my god, you know that's going to be a big deal.
Bertha needs to make sure she fills her hot tub with gasoline.
It's going to be a big deal. Oh man, people are going to be all mad. NASCAR and a gas shortage.
Good thing NASCAR uses ethanol.
I always forget about that. People I got to remember that fact. That's a good one. Well, that ethanol you're going to put in your 2004 Ford Focus.
Yeah, because it can totally run on that.
I drove a 2004 Ford Focus. I was just funny. Laugh. Laugh. Joe, what's new with you? No, we're not in the show yet.
I'm getting ready to sign on for an apartment for next year, so that's cool, I guess.
Woo!
So we'll have
I'm actually genuinely looking at cars. We're both growing up.
Well, still think you have a little more growing than I do, but I'm
Wait, was that
kidding. I'm
that was
kidding.
mean?
I'm
I
kidding.
just, to be fair, I did like just find out my credit score like last week.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't care. I
Apparently,
think they're
mine's really
stupid.
good.
Good. That means you pay your
Oh,
bills on time.
I think credit scores are stupid too, but it's good to have a good one, and I got a good one, so.
Experian.
I think it's stupid as well. Trust me, I think it's really dumb.
No, but you know, getting ready for college next year
Yes.
still. Look at Bristol. He's excited too because he should be able to
Look at
come.
Bristol. If you're listening to the audio version of podcast, which I know my dad does,
Hi,
every
Davey's
once in a while,
dad.
tune into YouTube, and look at Bristol, because man, what a good boy, what a good boy.
He's so cute. No, you know, getting ready for college again in the fall. Working on JTN. I don't. Pretty much, this is my life right now. Hey man, pays the bills.
Hey, just waiting on that Windows 10 update that finally kills NR, baby. Then we can move to iRacing and we can forget about all this.
Or we just move to iRacing now too, and we do them both. And I actually get someone that would be willing to stream outside of me. You know, that would be great. Oops. Yeah, that's right, Davey. Oh, Davey, I might need you to stream Rocket League because I'm going to be recovering from my COVID shot. I don't know that, Joe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to screw anything up. I don't want to screw anything up.
On the JTN YouTube, it's a little different.
I don't want to screw it up. It's literally you just put in the stream key and bob, bing, bob, boom. You're good to go. You get him with the gabagoo.
I don't like any of this. This
Davey hate right now.
This tomfoolery that's occurring.
Look at Bristol. He's just licking the bed. I don't know why he's doing that. Now he's looking at me. He's giving me devil eyes. I think that means it's time to go.
I think it means it's time to go. I think we should go.
All right, Davey. Where can they find more information from you?
Ooh, I forgot my lines.
Folks, make sure you check out the JTN merch store. We got new merch offerings on there, including our Fake Racers podcast merch.
Okay, I got it. At Davey Hazard on Twitter, at D7H5 on Instagram, and at D7H5er on Twitch with an ER at the end.
Glad they got those cue cards in order for you. Again, you can check out the JTN merch store. We got all kinds of merch on there, but the best ways to help support us is to, of course, make sure you like the videos and are subscribed. We're going live again too this week. The week of May the 11th, we had the broadcast last night, Monday night. We'll have a broadcast on the 12th, the 13th, and then Saturday, which is the 15th. A lot of great racing on JTN. Hope you guys tune in for it. Also follow us at Johto Network on Twitter. We post all our podcast links, so like your links to your Spotify version, your Google podcast version, the YouTube. We always do like a roundup at the end of the week. We also have Diecast reviews that are coming out in conjunction with Circle B. Use code JTN and check out. You know that you should know that by now. Can't thank you enough for watching, for giving us support. Comment below if you think we're a bunch of idiots and we don't know what we're talking about and we're talking through our teeth, which we probably are. To your credit,
we definitely are.
We have no idea.
We are not smarter than everyone, but we're gonna say we're smarter than everyone.
No, we're not gonna say that because that's mean.
Yeah, we are. We're smarter than everyone. We're not. But
Davey needs to feel something.
But we're not.
Folks, also remember May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's okay to not be okay. You are not alone. Head on over to NAMI.org for more information, for resources to help you or help your help a loved one, help a friend. Again, you are not alone this May. But that'll do it for us here on JTN. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you support. We will see you guys next time. He's been Davey Hazard. I've been Joe Twansky. That's Bristol, if you're on the YouTube version. And if you're not, well, thanks for listening to our voices for about an hour. See you guys next week.
Thank you and bye-bye.